Hey guys, Pyker here, and welcome back to another episode of Kethane Space Program. In this episode, we have a lot of catching up to do. There's quite a few things I had to do, mainly because we had to relocate our entire mining operation on the moon because of that Kethane update. So I've been working a lot to try to get us back up to speed at our current or our new mining operation on the moon. So this is the new power module. It's got a little bit more of the generators on it for those little tiny weird looking star looking things that attach to the side of it, and I made it a little bit longer. I put extra batteries on it, and I actually put a docking port on the top of it this time, so we can actually drop it off properly, instead of like we did last time, which was by the end and hoping that it didn't break on the drop. So I actually put a docking port on the top of this thing and made it so we can drop it off on the surface of the moon pretty easily. Um, so yeah, there's quite a few things that we did. What else did we do? We got some more fuel modules up to the moon, and they're designed a little bit differently. And when we hooked up our fuel module, or like our middle point fuel module, to the mining hub up at the moon, it's kind of hovering right now because the way that the landscape's hitting it, or the way the landscape sits, the fuel module actually doesn't touch the ground. So I'm hoping that's not going to create a problem for us later with all the other fuel modules to that we still have to connect yet. They should all be where I need them, and that is at the space station at the moon. So here's our setting up, getting ready for our burn to the moon, and look at that, we're at the moon. So yeah, we I decided to, instead of using our personnel tanker to drag all this shit out there, that I would end up just using these modules to bring this stuff out here. I think it's a lot easier, even though we end up wasting a lot of fuel doing it, and having to fly these pieces of module back to Kerbin so we don't leave space junk around. But we got that thing hooked up. We're actually take some fuel out of it and put it in the space station because our space station was empty. So we had to make a couple runs with the Kethane miner to refuel our space station, and I did that all off camera because I figured that'd be something that you guys wouldn't really be interested in watching. So I had to. I think I made like 2 or 3 runs with our Kethane miner, back and forth from the space station to refuel it. But here's our maneuver node to get that piece back to Kerbin, and we do get it back to Kerbin pretty easily. I might add, I think we have extra fuel too. Whenever I do end up getting it back, so we can actually get it into the atmosphere without it exploding. So what's this here? This is our Kethane miner with a full load of fuel, docking up with our space station. And I'm basically going to convert all the fuel that I have and refuel our space station with this run. And I did this like 2 more times. I just figured I'd kind of show you guys that, I did do it. And that was weird. Huh. That was weird. I got a warning about fraps, even though I don't even have fraps running. Anyways, here's us landing our Kethane miner after we converted all the fuel onto the space station, and just landing it, on a node somewhere on the moon to gather some more fuel. So it was quite a pain actually, to run back and forth with this miner, and hopefully we won't be having to do that here very shortly. And here's us taking another fuel module up to the moon space station. It's actually, I have a really hard time getting this thing into orbit because of all the weight. I didn't redesign the rocket. This is basically a saved file from our original fuel modules, but I did add extra weight to it. I added more power. I think I added another battery to it. I added 4 more uh, monoprop containers because I realized that we didn't have a piece to hold monoprop fuel. So I figured that if we had all of our fuel modules with at least 6 of those 150 unit containers of monoprop, I think that would be sufficient enough for our monoprop fuel. But here's us getting us into orbit up around Kerbin, and I do the exact same thing. I use the actual tug module that came on this piece to actually get it to the moon. it was just a lot easier than using our personnel tanker. So what we're probably going to do is we're going to probably take our personnel tanker back to Kerbin, hook up with our space station around Kerbin, unload whoever's in the personal or the personal the personnel tanker, unload whoever's in it into the space station, and deorbit our personnel tanker because I don't think we really need it anymore. Um, because I think I'm just going to design a reusable shuttle or a reusable craft to tow Kerbins or Kerbals back to and from space stations, being at the moon or around Kerbin itself, just to make it a little bit easier. And I still haven't decided whether or not I'm going to integrate our TAC life support system into this series. I really don't know. I'm waiting, honestly, for your guys' opinion. I need to know whether or not you guys think we should integrate our life support into our Kethane series or start a new career mode that's got all of these mods other than, I think, Kethane, really. Kethane won't be our main issue. And if we do another series as a career mode. But here's our second fuel module that we end up getting up to the space station, and it docks very easily. And yeah, so we get that up there, and then so this is us deorbiting our module that came with our fuel mods, anyways, or our tug that came with our fuel mods. Um, you can actually see that our engine was overheating there for a second because of deadly reentry, but this thing actually gets into the atmosphere pretty easily. I can't really see how fast we're going. I think we just got under 2 kilometers per second, but um, I actually feathered it into the atmosphere so it wouldn't blow up as we entered. So we get this thing back into the onto the surface of Kerbin pretty easily. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to get our power module from our space station on the moon or at the moon down to our mining operation on the moon. So I will see you guys in a few seconds. All right, so long story short, guys, I ran into a bunch of technical difficulties, which basically includes I I don't know what's going on with my video editing program. I'm hoping that when I'm recording this right now is whenever I do put it into my editing program that it'll actually work. But I've been having issues with it. It's been freezing and locking up my computer, and I honestly don't know what the hell's going on with it. But I did have all the footage to when I landed this power module here. I landed it and, didn't have really any issues to land it and got it hooked up to everything. The only problem I ran into is that I couldn't actually get it connected onto this side, unfortunately. This side's a little too high from where the hillside sits. So this actually wouldn't reach it, and I couldn't finagle it to make it even like want to dock. So I got it to connect to this side, obviously. So I'm probably what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna taking those other two fuel modules that we have up at the space station right now, and we're gonna hook them up to either side of this thing, and then we'll see if we can put another fuel module on this side, and maybe even another power module, and have the same kind of setup. So it'll be fuel module, power module, and then two more fuel modules on either side of this centerpiece here. I'm hoping that that'll work. I'm not positive if it will or not, but that's pretty much where I'm at right now. And like I said, I hope that whenever I put this thing into the editing program, that it'll actually render for me. Basically, I haven't had issues with the program itself. I've had issues with rendering it, and I've tried every troubleshooting method that I know. I've tried different settings. I've tried, not using my GPU accelerated, render speed. I've tried changing, certain things on the rendering, and it's just not working for me, and I don't know why. It rendered. I tried to render the videos in two different halves, and then like render one half, render the other half, and then put them together in the video editing program. But I still cannot get it to work. So that footage is kind of screwed right now. I could upload the piece, like I can upload it in two different parts, but one part's gonna be 8 minutes and one part's gonna be like 15 minutes or 12 minutes or something like that. So it'd be really awkward to do that. So I figured you guys don't really need to see me land the power module. You guys have seen me land shit down here before. It was just kind of like a filler piece where I would explain some things. But other than that, I mean, it wasn't really that interesting. The only thing that we did see was we didn't really get to see the what's the word I'm looking for, space station right now with all the shit on it. So we're gonna switch to it real quick just to give you guys a little quick look at it. Hmm. delicious iced tea. So yeah, here's our space station, and here's our mining modules. I'm not sure if I explained this or not. I think I did, but I did add more monoprop fuel containers onto these fuel modules. But basically what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to fly another power module up here and another two of these guys, because our fuel module down on the surface of the moon right now is already full. And now I got to figure out an easy way to transfer fuel from the surface to the space station. I think I was either I have it written down here. I said I was going to build a refueling platform or a refueling vessel. Maybe a ship that is sole purpose is to land and hook up with our mining hub and to transfer fuel into it. That would have, enough thrust and enough delta V. Well, the delta V is irrelevant, but enough thrust with the amount of fuel that I want to carry to get it off the surface of the moon and up to the space station without burning a lot of the fuel that we have stored on it. So that's one option. It'd probably be a pretty big vessel. It would probably, it'd probably have like four fucking main 1500, maybe not 1500, but like, a sizable engines that would have probably burned most of the, well, not most of the fuel, but a lot of the fuel. But if we put enough on it, that it wouldn't matter how much we burnt. So, but that's one option. The other option is I came up with the idea of building like a refueling platform. But I'd still need a refueling vessel, but it wouldn't need to be nearly as big. Um, Basically, the way that I have it like in my head is that the refueling vessel without the platform, the vessel like just refueling with it, would have to basically be able to land on top of the mining hub or land on top of a piece of the mining hub, like the power module or one of the fuel modules or whatever. So it'd have to have tanks and engines that are large enough to get around everything after it's set up. So it'd have to be able to land on top with pretty accurate, with a pretty accurate ability. And the only problem with that is that as long as they're attached, they should be fine with landing shit on top of it. Because it did cover the fact that when I did try to pick stuff up with my X-Tug, is that the thrust from the engines just blew the shit out of the way, so I couldn't even do that. So it'd have to be, it'd be a pretty wide. I'm using my hands to describe it, by the way, guys. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm using my hands to try to like give a distance or a size amount as I'm trying to explain it, and it's not working because I don't have a camera on me. So, but my girlfriend does have a camera, so I might make like a hey, this is me video, but I doubt that. Unless it's something that people would be interested in. Anyways, so it would have to be a pretty big vessel to land, precisely on a docking port and be able to hook up and transfer fuel into it. Now, I think I'm leaning towards the refueling platform. And basically what it is, it's going to be a fuel module, essentially. It's just going to be a huge ass fuel module. That's going to be a pain in the dick to try to get down to the surface of the moon and land it accurately. We'll probably have to build its own carrier system and be able to detach it and fly it away so it won't crash into anything. But it's essentially my idea is we're gonna use girders, in a square or whatever, and then we're gonna put a bunch of fuel tanks underneath it, and put 2 or 4 big engines on a carrier that can detach from it. Um, I'm like drawing it in my head right now, but it essentially would be a square, probably be like, I don't know, the size of one of these fuel modules, or like probably like, if these were all stacked together, it'd be like a 3x3. So it'd be like a 3x3, and it would be a little platform, and we'd put like girders and shit down on top of it. And then put a docking port in, like a big ass docking port in the center, so you could easily land on this platform and dock with like, as if you lined up to the platform and went to dock, it would automatically just suck you in because that's the amount of area that you have to do it. So with that, we'd have to, one, empty all the tanks and land it empty because there's just no freaking way. Also, the other thing that I was thinking about doing is downloading a mod. I think it's called the Kerbal attachment system. Basically, I could put like little carrier pieces on a ship and get a Kerbal up there and have him carry fuel lines, and basically attach one fuel line to one vessel and then attach the fuel line from the mining hub to the actual fuel vessel, which would probably be 10 times easier. But I think trying to problem solve without that is a little bit more fun and a little bit more interesting, honestly. So I'm gonna see what you guys think. Even though nobody ever fucking responds to these videos, even though I ask you guys to all the fucking time. But you should really leave comments because I will do if you guys have suggestions, I will I will do it like or at least try to my the best of my ability to do it. But right now I am leaning towards the refueling platform with a smaller refueling vessel. But like I said, there's two options, which is mainly just the refueling vessel or the platform. So if you guys have any ideas or any thoughts on what you think I should do, or if you guys want me to install the Kerbal attachment system mod, I mean, I'm okay with that, but I think problem solving without that would be a little bit more interesting, personally. But I'll leave it up to you guys as to what we'll do with that. So we're gonna do either a refueling platform or a refueling vessel. But either if we do the platform, we have to do a vessel anyways. But if we do a vessel, it's got to be designed in such a way that I can be able to land it on top of our one of our fuel mods on at our mining hub. So that's where we're at right now. Next episode, I think what we're gonna do is probably start figuring out how the hell we're gonna do that. We might just do both and try both and see what works better. Also, I need to deorbit our personnel carrier. I need to deorbit our personnel carrier and what else? And build a shuttle system basically to transfer Kerbals from the surface of Kerbin to the space station around Kerbin or the space station at the moon, because we have guys out there that aren't necessarily needed out there, so we have to build some type of reusable shuttle or reusable rocket to get them to and from space, essentially. So that's where we're at right now, guys, and I'm sorry that this video isn't very like visually exciting, but I wanted to talk about like what I was running into and the ideas that I had, and I also wanted to get your guys' opinion on what we should do next. So if you guys please, if you have any ideas, any suggestions, if you think one thing's better than the other, like the platform or the vessel, or what do you guys want to see next? I need to know what you guys want to see next, and I also need to know what you guys think would be the better option. Should we do the mod and just make it easy on ourselves, or should we try to problem solve and build a refueling vessel or a refueling platform with a little vessel? So please, 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 guys, put your thoughts down in the comment section and let me know. That's how I'm gonna try to. If I don't get any responses, I'm just gonna do whatever the hell I feel like. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. But I'm gonna put this video up, let it go for about 5 days before I put up another one. And in those 5 days, I'm hoping that anybody will, be like, hey, this seems like a good idea, or hey, you should just get the mod and make it easier on yourself. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And like I said, I apologize for this video not being very, very visually exciting, but I did want to explain and talk about a couple things. So thank you for listening and thank you for watching. Please hit that like button if you haven't. Or if you don't, I don't know why. I need you guys to hit that like button. It helps me out a lot. And also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And also, please leave your comments on what we should do next in the comment section. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.